Good evening. Today was the end of the Melbourne Cup Carnival, of course, in Melbourne, and we had the corresponding meeting today in Sydney, and there was a good roll up at headquarters at Randwick. Now, of course, during the week, besides the swag of meetings everywhere, just in New South Wales, of course, we had a Melbourne Cup Day Randwick race, and the track was good on Tuesday. The rail was 4 metres out. There was a fairly stiff southwesterly blowing. It was very similar today, actually, but on Tuesday, a fairly stiff southwesterly. When the leaders turned for home, of course, it was brushing them on the side, helping them down the straight. The track on Tuesday, it was, I thought, an advantage to be up near the leaders, and leading on the fence was a bit of an advantage. We did have, of course, 2 winners on Tuesday that came from well back, so I think you should give their efforts an extra little tick, and if they were in race 5 in the 1,000 metre race for the 3-year-olds and upwards. The winner was Plastered. There was some large section 1 here by the pros talking about worldly impact. He was, I suppose you could say, he was racing against a team of crocs, really, and it, as I say, it was off the card. 4s, $5 into $3, a little bit hard to get towards the end of betting. The opening favourite limitation, it went up a 6-4 chance. Well, I think it might have only been returned. Well, I think it was returned 320. I think it might have been 340 when they jumped, and the figures weren't very good in the race, and it settled down in second last position on a hot pace, but it just joined on, tacked on coming to the turn, ridden by proper Peter Roble, eased to the outside, and just ran past them. He got onto the back of the opening favourite limitation. He got past it quite easily. It held on for second, but it was 3 lengths away. And the other winner on Tuesday, to make up a lot of ground, coming from a clear last where it was always going to be. So its effort also, as I say, you should give a little bit of extra merit, or an extra whatever you give them. Turbulent Jet in race 8, of course, it came, and there was a nice solid pace up front in that race as well, by Kill winning option, made a bit of use of by Bold Lake Shin, and it sailed down the outside after settling down a clear last from an inside alley. Turbulent Jet hooking off their heels after topping, or after coming around the turn, and as I say, sailed down the outside to win only by a slender margin, but coming from behind was a little bit hard to do. So those 2 runners you give an extra tick to. Then we had the provincial meeting at Hawkesbury, Oaks Day in Melbourne, and it was the opposite. Now, the wind, it was a light nor'easterly, and besides the track on the inside being inferior, the wind didn't help leaders when they got out of the back straight coming down the side, although there were 2 leaders that won late in the day. To help you a little bit, the wind, when Tromso led all the way, and they said they were going to ride it forward, there was once it got to the lead, Tromso, in the main race of the day, the listed race, it was able to get a very easy time down the side, and the wind during race 6 had dropped, so it wasn't wind affected, but it still was on the inside where the going, I thought, was inferior. And then the very next race, Glamour Rock, who had barrier 1, ridden by Mrs. J. Taylor, 3 kilo girl. Well, of course, she missed the kick slightly, and then she was on the fence naturally for barrier 1, but then they all looked at her and said, "Now you can go through here, young lass, because we know the inside's no good." And when she got to the lead, she had a very, very easy time up in front, and also, well, the wind was picked up a little bit, but wasn't a little bit stronger than race 6. It was much stronger in race 8, the last race, but she was able to lead, and there were a few runners, especially the favourite in race 7, one sparkling to win, ridden by Killer Kath O'Hara. It was badly held up. When it got clear, it didn't sprint as good as I thought it would, but anyway, that leader led all the way as well, Glamour Rock. They were the only 2 to get home, but the fence at Hawkesbury, the track was given out good, the rail was in a normal position, very sandy, quite a bit of kickback, as I keep on saying about it at Hawkesbury, but the inside was, even though 2 winners did lead and win, the inside I thought was not the place to be at Hawkesbury on Thursday. And then we came to Randwick today. We did have winners come down the outside, but again, I thought the inside at Randwick today was, I thought, a bit of an advantage. Now the wind was well, looking at the track as soon as they went out of the back straight, if you draw a line from when they went out of the back straight across to where they go out of the straight in the home straight, the wind was in that direction, so it was more or less a southwesterly. Swung around late in the day to be more southerly, and it was a very good stiff breeze all day. So when leaders turned for home, they didn't have the wind in their face. They had it hitting their side and helping them down the straight. Now, in the first race, we saw Capital Commander. I thought it would lead very easily, but Killer Kath, when she got to the lead, she set a fairly average pace, rolling along with that good clock that she has in her head. She's a very capable rider, Killer Kath, riding in Sydney all the time against the males, the male hickey hockeys, and she holds her own. Very, very capable rider, and she was able to lead, which everybody thought would happen. The favourite, after missing the kick slightly, index length, it got up on its inside, up behind it on the fence, but she hadn't spent any petrol. It was the place to be, bit of an advantage leading on the fence, and after she topped the rise, she got a bit of a break, out-sprinted them, and she beat the favourite, who got off heels, eased around the horse that was sitting outside the running second, Martinist. It was very, very well back, $21 into $12. Got around it, but couldn't make up the ground and got beat a length and a half, the favourite. And Martin Avast held on for 3rd position. Now, the figures here all day, the captains offered were very skinny. On the screen in the first race, they said 105.3. There was about 3 less in the marketplace. Well, the favourite was $1.80, plenty of it. I think the best flux $1.75 or whatever, and a couple of others. So there's a bit 3 less, and about 102 in the marketplace. Now the second race came along. Now the robots, they rang the fraud squad fairly early here, because in the second race on the flux screen there was only 96.8 on the flux screen. So you know straight away you can do a lot better than the flux screen all the time. The fluxed screen, 94.5 in the marketplace. Now this race was won by Earthquake, trained by Peter Snowden, ridden by Christian Reith. Sat second, Sheer Style, who led at its only start. There were only 2 runners in this race who had starts for the these were 2-year-olds. Headwater Country, the runner that won by 6 lengths at the Gold Coast, it missed the kick and then copped a bit of a check, and that was the end of it. It finished up running 3rd, so I suppose its effort wasn't that bad, but it was 8.3 lengths away in third position. The winner has trotted in. It led, as I say, sheer style. It looked at it, Earthquake, always travelling, and Gay had a runner in this race. Pinch Me, number 9. It's at third on the fence, getting a cosy run, and it just completely, it was gone on the turn more or less. But this winner absolutely strolled in. It looks to have plenty of ability. It was $4 Earthquake out to $6.50 taken back into $6. As I say, the figures 94.5 only in the marketplace. These were the flux in this race. Headwater Country was $6 out to $7, started $3.80, so it was 6 to 11 to 4. Also at Adams, it was 50s into 30, back out to 40. Bomber Brown from 6 out to 7. Mavericks, $12 out to 17, back into 14. Sheer Style, $5 out to $6.50. The winner, $4 out to $6.50, back to 6. Now Freeze the Chargers, 17 out to 21, back into 19. Pinch Me, $4.60 out to $6. And the bottom one, whatever it's called, Tin Winskinski, it was $14 out to 21, back into about 19. Not worth a caser. The winner, I suppose, if you gave $6.50 and you were snowed in with number 1, well, I don't know how. I just don't know how they do it, but I'm one of them, of course. I'm the biggest cookie egg out there. Now we got to race 3, and Captain's Reach for this favourite, Mulliquin, and it won well. We put it up only a $2.50 chance. 6 to follow the field, 1.5 for 1, and it got out. It got out to $3.70, $3.80, taken back into $3.50 at one stage, but again reached for by the Captain's Late, back out to $3.70. Now the top fluck about number, by the way, 100.9 on the screen, and the robots, dead set, picked up the Al Capone and rang the coppers. They said, these bookies downstairs in the marketplace are trying to send us robots broke. They're only betting 100.9. Now we can't pay the Toyota Lexus and bet these odds and win at the caper. Down in the marketplace, try this for size, 92.5. These were the flux. 250 out to 380 to 350, back to 370. Mulliquin. The winner, the stablemate Marden, $5 out to $7, started $4.40. Toffler, the best fluck about Toffler was $3.80. Now I was $4, never ever wound it off in the outside ring, couldn't give it away. $4.20 on the fence. Best fluck $3.80. You best flucked punters, you get a real good deal. You're really clever. Now the next runner, Zephron, $4.20, only out to $8. Would the owners of Zephron please step forward? They got caught in the traffic and they never made the track. Big Time, $12 out to 16, back into 13. Viking Legend, 25. A Pony, we put it up, out to 50, back into 40. Punch Your Weight, $10 out to $14, into $11. I was 14 again when they jumped. And Republic Lad, it found some customers at $41 after opening up $17 chance, 16 to 1. We got it to 41, back into 31. Try 92.5 for size. And this favourite, it went out with a big lead at one stage, Big Time. They said they were going to ride it closer, and they did. They didn't tell any fibs to the Stipes, and it went straight to the lead and down the back. At one stage, it was 6 lengths in front. They caught it fairly quickly coming down the side. The favourite, it was 3 back on the fence. He just eased off heels, turning for home, got a middle split. Was too strong for them. The stablemate was on his outside. He had to go around a couple of runners, but there was 1.5 lengths between them when they hit the line. The winner, by far the best run. Race 4, again, I'm telling you now, they said, are you on your way? Because they're trying to send us broke, these captains in the down here in the marketplace. On the screen, 98.5, top flucked. In the marketplace, 93.5 to make you laugh. Oh my God. Adage, $4 out to $5, into $4.60, back to $5, back into $4.60. Amavotio, the favourite. Now, I think they'll only return this 240. I was 260 when they jumped. It was $2.80 out to $3.20 into $2.50 taken. I had to wind the $2.50 off, but I got it back to $2.60 when they jumped. A lot better than the SP. Flak jacket, $9 into $7.50, even $7, but back out to $8.50 when they jumped. Foreign Prince, the winner. 5-2 bar it, we said. We put it up 5-2 second pick, and it got out to as much as $6, but it came right in to $4.60. Very hard to get when they jumped. Frespinol, $8 or $9 out to $12. You wouldn't see that. Back into $8.50. Swivet had the first starter, 20 out to 31. I've run out of the Beauty Blue. I don't know what I'm going to do. Arancio, or whatever they call it, 20 out to 51. And Haindi was 300 into 200. I was 400 again when they jumped. Now, what happened here? Foreign Prince, it had the inside box. It had Current Bun, and it went straight to the lead. Serge Lisny, he rode it. He'll come back as a greyhound, this boy. God, he's a good beginner. And he went straight to the lead. It's a bit one-paced, and it rolled along and at a nice solid tempo, Foreign Prince. And Amavotio, it got back a little bit in the field on the inside, ridden by the pumper. And when they turned for home and topping the rise, Foreign Prince was going very strong. The runner on its outside, Frespinol, he had it beat, it dropped off, and it was up to the favourite, Amavotio, to go out after the favourite after easing off heels, but couldn't make up the ground, was never going to catch it. 2 3/4 lengths was the margin when they hit the line. 3 and a bit lengths, 3.5 or so, back to Frespinol hanging on to third position. Adage, who sat midfield, one off the fence. Well, how was it going to win? Didn't you see it last week at Rose Hill? It was beaten. It was well beaten, 10.1 lengths, or running about fifth. Now, race 5 came along. A little bit better now. The fraud squad had arrived on course, and they had the cuts out, and they were pointing out all the suspects, the robots. They said, "There's one of them over there." And they were getting the cuffs to ready, put them on him. But you know, I didn't see anyone really arrested. 104.4, that saved the day for the robots. But in the marketplace, 99%. Now, this was a race where the favourite, Fuel Marshal, got home, ridden by the pumper. This was most probably the best win of the day, or run, whatever you want to call it, because it had the outside alley. There were 9 runners, and it had barrier 9, ridden by the pumper. What a rider this boy is. He's getting better with age. Anyway, he jumped out. He could see it jumped with them. It's an optical illusion. Of course, it looks like it's in front, but it's just the angle, how we're looking at the race. He was with them, but then he eased, and he went back to third last. He was always 3 and 4 wide the entire journey. It led on the fence, the very well-backed runner that finished up starting favourite, Lenny's Choice. It had barrier 1. It went through and led. On its outside was Seamus, and on trapped 3 wide outside the pair was Words of Weapons. And as I say, well, he's got a Cozy running behind them, Californian Storm on the outside of Mr. Fabulous, and another Queensland runner. The leader was a Queensland runner, but when they topped the rise, the pumper was looming on Field Marshal, who was looming up, as I say, and right on the line, the pumper got his Warwick Farm, and he pushed the Field Marshal's Gregory Peck just that little inch. The professional he is, and what did he win by? He won by that little push that he gave him right at the finish to Bob Seamus, who sat outside the lead. The runner that was 3 wide all the way, Words of Weapons, was only 0.2 of a length away. It was 0.1 by 0.2. So Words of Weapons run was very good because he sat 3 wide without cover, but the winner 4 wide back in the field. And just wanting galloping room was California Storm, only beaten 0.3. So there was nothing between the 4 when they hit the line. The winner, a very good run. We put it up a 2-to-1 chance, 2-to-1 the field. It got out to $3.50, plenty of it. I was $3.50 when they jumped. I think it might be a little bit less SP. As I say, we gave losing figures again. Hallelujah. Race 6 came along, and this was the race where the protest was upheld, second against first. Don't you love the Irish? There are plenty of Irish out there today. They've got to be the salt of the earth, the Irish. God bless them. They, of course, there was the protest, and he mustn't have been a race goer, which is a bit surprising for the Irish, because they're all good punters and very, very well mannered and always very jovial. And my Clark, who has got a very good sense of humour, of course, an Irish boy came up and said, not being facetious, one little bit, said to my Clark, yes, will this protest, will there be a decision? Will there be a decision today? And my Clark said, well, when are you, how long are you here for in Australia? He said, oh, I'll be here for another month. And my Clark said to him, well, look, I hate to say this to you, but there's a good chance there mightn't be a decision made by then. And he copped it as sweet as that. He says, oh, all right then, not a problem. Well, of course, we had to pull him aside and tell him, yes, look, there's a good chance there'll be a decision in say, the next 5 to odd minutes. Anyway, which there was. And unfortunately, I think he backed the winner. And poor bugger was his ticket. I don't know whether he backed to win and place with me, but it wasn't. I hope he did, to get something back. But anyway, a little bit of humour with the Irish. Now, of course, this race here, well, for a start, was 108 on the screen, 4 less in the marketplace, 104. Fraud Squad, they're sitting back now. They say, oh, well, it looks all right. There was a late scratching in the race. Taya, the runner down the bottom, I think might have had a trickle of blood in one nostril when it arrived around the barrier, so it was scratched. Now, we all saw the race. It got poleaxed early in the race, the favourite Pendleton, who was extremely well backed. We put it up a $3.50 chance, 5-2 the field, got out to $4. It was into about $3.30, 40, $3.50 it was before the scratching of the 12-1 chance Taya at the barrier. And after the scratching of Taya, it was the $3.20 favourite Pendleton. And as I say, after they'd gone a furlong or so, there was apparently it was Sale who was sailing across, and I only saw the head on, so I couldn't see how much ground when you see the head on that Pendleton or for that matter Sale lost when they when the interference happened. But I'll have to look at the tape again tomorrow. But that more or less was the end of Pendulum, because it went back to third last position. The first 4 runners here were well clear of the field with 3 furlongs to go. It led on the fence. The runner first past the post, She's a Girl. It was an advantage being there. On its outside was Cookler, who was well backed. Fulminate, the eventual winner, ridden by Killer Kath O'Hara, and on its outside, well, it was third fence, and on its outside was Gold Epona, and then it was a break to the other 6 runners. And when they got down to the line, it held on. Killer Kath, I didn't think she'd actually established a run, but look, the Stipes, there were some people who thought the protest was immoral to be dismissed, and there were some very intelligent people who thought it was immoral to be upheld. So those who thought it was going to be upheld, they were right, because the Stipes said, yes, in our opinion, we think this protest, he did shift out just a little tiny bit, which caused Killer Kath maybe to lose a little bit of ground, and there was only 0.2 of a length in it, so it was only more or less the head margin, and the protest was upheld. And as I say, when they hit the line, there were 5 runners went across the line together, and there was only 0.6 of a length between them. Run this race over again, you get plenty of different results. It was wide all the way. My Amira, ridden by roving Robert Thompson, and it sailed down the outside, running 4th, and it was only beaten a half a length. As I say, run the race again. The bit of bias helped the leader, She's a Girl, get first past the post, but lose it on protest. Run this race again, the interference early, and so forth, you would get quite a few different results. The 7th race came along, and here we saw the very well-backed Absalom win. It took Absalom the entire length of straight to run down the runner that sat outside the leader, and that was Ralston, to nab it near the line to win by 0.2 of a length. Now, in this race, there was 104.1 sweet robots on the screen, 99 only in the marketplace, and these were the flux. $6 out to $8, back into $6 Absalom. Raining was $8 out to 12. Letchworth 16 out to 31. At all costs, you wouldn't see it, $7 given about at all costs. The top flucked was $5.50. There's a bit of difference there. Abraham Lincoln, $5 out to $7, $6.50 best, or $7 begging at the finish. You'll never know if you never ever go. And it was $3.70 out to $5. Bookies took big risks with it. It settled well back in the field and made up a lot of ground. The first 3 murdered the others. Was beaten 1.2 lengths running third, You'll Never. Druid was 50 into 40. Return Court Courteous was 40 out to 50. The next runner was well back, Faust, $5 out to $7.50, back into 6. Ralston 17 out to 21, back into 17 or 18. And Paramount Pete was always $101. It led Letchworth. I wish I had some of that Pooty Blue. It led Letchworth on its outside. Ralston tucked him behind on the fence, running third, Abraham Lincoln, who was very disappointing. Ran second last, beaten 8.6 lengths. It never lived up to its run at Canterbury. And Absalom was in the 1-1 position. The others, it was on its back, Absalom's back at all costs, so it had its chance. But coming to the turn, it was quite evident that one of the first 4 runners around the turn here were one of them was going to win, and it got past Letchworth fairly easily at Ralston, but as I say, it had the good run. It got past Ralston. It had the good run, Absalom, but it did take it the entire length of straight just to win by 0.2 of a length. And making up ground, repeating myself, was the favourite You'll Never beaten 1.2. That was about the race, I suppose, and they all seemed to have their chance in that race. The last race came along, and they said there was a fat, they'd already gone, the coppers, 110.9 on the screen for the robots, for the Get Square Stakes. They were very happy that the favourite did get home. 102 only in the marketplace, so there was 8% difference. Well, I'll tell you what the flux were. Well, I can see one obvious one here, which I can't understand. Ralston, Goldstone, I should say, the first bet I laid in this race, the first bet I laid was 8,500 at $17, Goldstone. It got out to 21. Number one gun was 17 out to 31, back into 26. Now Raceway, the best plucked for Raceway was $10, 9 to 1. Gee whiz, try 14 to 1. Bit of difference, isn't there? I bet $15. I bet 5,600 to 400 at one stage, and a few other bets. It was $14 on my board when they jumped, but still returned only 10. I was a mile of 13 on the fence. I don't know how that happened. Faustus, I think 17, but I was 21 it. 12 out to 21. Cradle Me, 21 into 17, but I was 21 again when they jumped. Boss Lane, extremely well back, $8 into $6. Emblems, $8 out to $10, back into 9. Reflectance, which it would have won, $17 out to 26 I gave, back into 21. Now the favourite, top flucked about the favourite was $2.40. I did a bucketful on this. It was $2.50 on my board and they jumped, still laying it, and I was $2.50 for most of the betting. War Charm, 17 out to 26 I gave, back into 21. Taken at one stage into 19, but I was 21 again at the finish. And Rock Magic, $12 out to $13, back into 12, but back out to 13 on my board. They jumped. It's funny how this race panned out, because the favourite was going to be up there in a bit of a speed battle at one stage, and it could have been a bit of a blessing in disguise when I can't believe jovial Josh Parr, pressing on like he did on Emblems, he went up outside the leader, Rock Magic, who drew barrier 1, held the fence. It was half a length in front of us, sort of thing, Emblems outside it. And in between them earlier on was his favourite, number one gun, who had the blinkers on for the first time, was punching up, and it was sitting third. Then you had Bob's Lane running fourth, and this favourite, as I say, he copped a bit of a buffeting from possibly Emblems earlier on, and that could have been the difference between winning and losing here, because when that happened, he eased back and he finished up getting a lovely suck up behind them, eased off their heels turning for home, ambled up to them after topping the rise, shot clear, and was all over. The runner that made up all the ground, and the third horse, they came from second last and third last, were Reflectance, ridden by the pumper. He went up on the inside, coming to the turn. He was on the fence. He eased off heels after they topped the rise, went out after the favourite. The bird had flown, but he only went down by 0.8 of a length, and coming from second last around them, right down the outside, was Goldstone, beaten 1.3 lengths. They got away from the others. I suppose the winner was, I might be talking through my kick. I stood it for kicking, and it got home. Anyway, that was about the meeting. If you were wire netting, I hope you had some luck, or as the captains say, finished on the right side of the ledger. Good evening.